All right, hello everyone. I am back here recording some more over the board games. I have with me Vlad.
Hello.
He is another ship student just like me, and we are playing in the Central Pennsylvania Championship. Vlad, you're about like 300-ish rated, and you have this big matchup in round one. We don't actually know what Vlad's opponent's rating actually is, but it's somewhere above 1,200, so maybe around 1,300-ish. But it's a first round game. How are you feeling heading into it?
Nervous, but he was late, so I was a little overzealous because I got like 10 extra minutes to think.
All right, cool. So let's see how you did here. We had a brief cursory view of it by loading it in before this before this video started. So you usually stick to E4, right?
Yes.
And he played E6, which is the French. And you said you sometimes see this.
I sometimes see this with like a lot of like beginner players who don't exactly know that they can move the pawn up twice.
And by pawn up twice, you're referring to the D pawn. So so you play knight C3, and then he plays D5. So yeah.
I actually don't see that very like ever. So
Yeah.
I just did not see it coming. And so I try to do my best to like get everything like developed here. Like that's my main goal, is just getting things developed on the board.
Yeah, and just for some context, this is your basically, I guess, your third tournament, because your first tournament, I guess you played some as a kid. You played some tournaments as a kid, so you have
Yes.
you have this 300. You had a 100 rating from the tournaments you played as a kid, and then now this is your third tournament back, and your second classical rated tournament. You played in that quick tournament last weekend.
Yes.
So I would say you're relatively new, like relatively compared to me and like compared to some other chess players. Okay. So yeah, but D5 is an important move in the French because they're striking at the center. Because in the opening, you want to control the center with your pawns, and the whole point of the French defense, just strategically, the whole point is to delay the move, is to undermine White's control of the center with the move D5, but we're going to wait for it by playing the move E6 first. And so if we think about what I play as black, I often play the Caracan, which is C6, and then if you win knight C3, D5. So the same D5 move, but different opening. Very different, but like kind of the same concept of controlling the pawn, controlling the center with pawns. I don't know how often you think about openings like that, but just something to note.
I did see that opening in the next game I played.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. That's wild. Okay. So let's see here. So you played, let me just get this here. Bishop D3. What was the thought process behind that move?
Well, I didn't want to go straight out and attack the king and potentially get my bishop trapped so early with so little control. But I needed to get out of the way so I can castle a couple moves from here.
That's a really interesting point. So I actually really like what you said there. So number one, yeah, you probably don't want to go bishop b5 check. It is a check, but like you were saying, he's probably going to block with the pawn. And if you're not careful, if you just get lazy, like this bishop could be trapped. It's actually not trapped yet. But it's just like your bishop's getting kicked around a lot. Like he theoretically go a6 and let's say b5 here and c5, and c4 is a huge threat to trap your bishop. And actually, your bishop has been trapped in some positions before. I actually seen some of your games, so I can understand why you would be like, you'd be afraid of something like that. And I think you're correct. Like, so I like the thought process of, hey, I need to develop pieces, but I shouldn't go to that square. However, bishop d3 is actually a bad way to develop. Because you're blocking in your bishop in front of your own d pawn, which blocks the development of your dark squared bishop. So something to keep in mind for sure. Also, c5, as you saw in the game later, it does come, and these pawns are just gonna have a free reign on your pieces. So actually, bishop d3 is still a target for your bishop. So really what you should probably play in this position is d4, controlling the center. And so now, if you go bishop d3 later, now c5 cannot be followed up by c4, attacking your bishop because you have this extra space in the center. So if you had, usually the rule in chess, one guideline is that if you can put two pawns in the center, you should. That's like the general.
And I did definitely feel the effect of having the bishop there, blocking that pawn, blocking that extra bishop, because I could have used it a little bit sooner.
Yeah, but I do like how you're like prioritizing development to castle. Like, wow, that's a really good opening principle to remember. That like, hey, I actually got to develop pieces in the castle. But in this case, there is no good space for your light square bishop, as you found, and that you should not move it to a square because none of them are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's something that like it's probably the first time really seeing this opening, so I can understand why you would make a move like that. But yeah, he plays a good move, c5, perfectly good move, gaining space in the center, and now his pawns might roll over your pieces. You play knight f3, continue development. That's good. Knight c6, and he's got this very perfect French, very very perfect. Has all the space in the world. He's very happy in this position for sure.
Okay.
You castle, and then trying to think if there's anything else you should have done instead of castling. You could have played bishop b5 to get your bishop out of the way of attacks. That's definitely something to consider. Something that you could have done. Moving bishop because it's not well placed here in the first place.
I was considering that deeply. I didn't want to get kicked out of there quite yet, and I was saving that for a little bit later. I used it to greater effect as soon as he moved his knight. He didn't move his pawn, so I was able to get in there a little.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you do end up castling. He plays c4, so he wins time against your bishop, and then he pushes d4. And this is where things get pretty dicey, because let's say you moved your knight back to b1. Like, let's say if you move your knight to a4, then b5 would trap your knight. Your knight has nowhere to go. And if you had gone knight b1, actually your light square bishop is trapped with d3. And this is crazy. Like, his pawn has snuck through all the way to the other side of the board and trapping your bishop. Like, this is bad. So my point is, by force, you're losing a piece, actually. Yeah, so even here, he plays a6, I think. Yeah, he plays a6. He could have played d3 and just trap your knight. Oh, wait. Although, of course, here you take. And if queen takes, then got him. but
Suicide knight trap.
Yeah, but so he didn't rush with the move d3, trapping your bishop. He first kicked your knight out, which makes sense. And you could have gone knight a3, but then once again your bishop gets trapped. So which is kind of crazy. Like already your position is like lost objectively. Like already you're losing a piece by force. And it's because of these pawns, these super strong center pawns, and your bishop was a real target in this game. So it kind of goes back to like move 3, where like you move this bishop on the square and it wasn't good. So definitely something to keep in mind in the future. But what's done is done. What's done is done. So you end up going down a piece, but you get 2 pawns for it. Yeah, which definitely it's objectively lost, but two pawns is 2 pawns. He takes your knight, you take back, and he plays queen f6. Not much you can do here. Personally, like if I was playing the position, I'd be like, I want to avoid a queen trade at all costs, so I might go like queen b3. But oh wait, you went queen e2, which also makes perfect sense. You did not want a queen trade.
No.
That was good.
No, I wanted to go back and try to like regroup and not just leave the bishop there hanging.
That makes sense. Yeah, and not trade queens.
That, and if he did go down, I have 2 attackers on that one square.
Oh,
If
this way?
if he followed up with the queen, I had two attackers on the one square. The pawn,
Oh,
F pawn.
oh, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. You have a lot of defenders on it. So even if he did like try to attack it, you do have a good amount of defenders. That's true. That's true. Yeah. And then he went 97. Yeah, I think he didn't want to go bishop c5 because of c3, 97, and d4. You have this huge big you have a big white center. Like this is and actually like after the bishop moves, you just go e5 and you one connect 4, which is pretty cool. Look at this diagonal, it's completely covered. That's pretty cool. that's pretty cool. So I think that's what he didn't like, or something like that. I don't know what he was thinking, but I assume it was something like that. So that's why he moves his knight out first, and you play e5 and d4, which does give up this pawn. Did you miss that on a first glance, or were you expecting that?
I was actually expecting that. I wanted to get that pawn out of there because it was trapping my bishop in for quite some time. So even if it was sacrificial, I now have the diagonal and I can move that bishop out of there to connect my rooks.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you are down a piece, so like partially it's like okay, let's just like give up everything and just try to get our pieces out as quickly as possible. That's definitely one approach. And since you're just down a piece, I can't really find any blame in that. Like if it was equal material and you weren't down anything, I'd be like, why are you giving up a pawn? But you're already down a piece. You're already losing. You might as well go down swinging, I guess.
A little bit, but or at least try to get some like semblance because I'm already down pretty bad here, and I'm just trying to fight for equal position again.
Yeah. Yeah. So personally, I would have gone c3 first, and then after a move like 96, then d4, get the connect 4, everything's defended. And yeah, you're still down a piece, but um, your bishop is still open just one move later. And if he makes a move like bishop e7, um, like, let's see, you can even go like g3 maybe. Where is this queen even going? Where is this queen going? Legitimately, I actually don't know. Um, his queen is almost trapped. That's nuts. I'm sure it's not. Like probably queen here. Um, and probably black is fine. Maybe. Yeah, I don't see any way to trap the queen, but it's getting a little bit dicey. Maybe you can go like here. But then queen here, this looks a little bit annoying. Yeah. But anyways, I would have just gone c3 and then d4 because there's not much he can do to like make his position that much better before you get d4 in. So I definitely would have preferred you play c3 and then d4, but I can't really fault your reasoning. You're already down, and you're just trying to get your pieces out, which makes sense. You play bishop e3, good move, attacks the queen. Um, so there's something he didn't like about taking this pawn. There's something he didn't like about it. Um, I don't see why you can't. It looks a little bit scary because if this bishop could move with a check, then you win his queen. But your bishop cannot move anywhere with a check. So, not sure what he didn't like about it. But this is totally fine. Put your rooks on good squares. And you end up playing f3. Um, yeah, I wonder if there's anything else you could have done. I don't really think so. I think everything you've played is pretty natural up to this point. Um, yeah, I think everything's fine. Yeah. I mean, you could consider a move like a funny move like bishop b6 with the idea that like let's say he takes and takes, you have this move rook d8 check guarded by your bishop, but it's not checkmate. But this position is kind of silly. Look how his bishops and rooks haven't moved yet. It's kind of funny looking. I like this. It's kind of funny looking to me. But
Yeah, and I was looking at that like the entire game was he was underdeveloped, in my opinion, but he also hasn't really needed to push anything out. He didn't absolutely have to. It was like he was chilling.
Yeah. I think he took a slow approach to it. Like he didn't want to rush. I mean, he's up a piece. He can play slow as possible, as slow as he wants. I guess I should say. So he does end up taking the pawn, and you push your pawn forward, and you're playing with initiative here. Like you're yeah he like here he has to respond to your move. He has to respond to your move. He has to respond to your move. So I think that makes sense. I'm not sure if f5 was the best choice. I don't think you have that many options though. Trying to think here. You could go queen g4 now. I think queen g4 could be a more testing way to play instead of f5 because like right now he wants to move his bishop and castle, but he cannot do that because then he would lose this pawn and his king's never safe. And this is exactly what you want. So I feel like he could play queen g4 here, but he might play h5, tickle your queen and say, "Where you going?" um, but even this, I think putting a queen here on g4 before this bishop moves causes a bit more chaos.
Okay.
So I think that's one reason. But like I said, it's probably still losing, but like maybe it's a bit more trying. Oh, computer notification. So
I think I pushed up to f5 to try to get that pawn out of there.
yes, he would love it if he takes. I
Yeah.
mean, you just win. Like actually, no, you probably do this.
Yeah, I connect. I now have a check. That's what I was looking at. I was hoping he'd take that.
Yeah, this looks winning. I don't see the win though. Bishop e7. Maybe this isn't winning. This has got to be winning though. I don't know how though. Yeah. Maybe if after takes. Nah, that's kind of tough. Maybe check, and he has to block with his queen. But then you go here, and now you're threatening this move. This looks kind of strong. Um,
All I would need to do was bring the rook up.
yep.
Not move the queen, but bring the rook straight up.
But then he can trade queens like this.
Um,
But maybe this is still good.
I'm thinking the what is that?
Doubling up here.
No, the D, and bring it up. Go back a couple. Before the trade. If you bring that rook just up,
Here?
yeah,
Here the knight can take?
I see.
Yeah, the knight can take this one. Um, but honestly, what you were saying here, though, this one doesn't look that bad. Because if he blocks with a knight, it's checkmate with the bishop. And if he blocks with the bishop, I want to do this because if he takes, it's mate. If he takes with the knight, but if he takes with the king, then it's not mate. But maybe you could just go. Maybe honestly, you could go. You might be able to go here because if he castles, then you take and take, and it's equal material. He's up a pawn. Weirdly enough, it's just up a pawn. Anyways, but you're right. You're right. Intuitively, you're right. Yeah, yes. F5. If he takes, you're winning. I think. But as you saw in the game,
Yeah.
as soon as he pushes to e5, so that's why I think probably queen g instead of f5, queen g4 is better. But it's all good. Bishop d5. Yeah, it's hard to find a good improving move. Because it feels like your pieces are out. So what is there really to do? You could play the move f6. Because if he takes, now your rook has. I mean, like you're just straight up attacking this f7 pawn, and there's like he can't. He has to. How is he going to defend it? If he defends it like this, then oh man, you're in. His king is naked. His king is naked. Like actually, instead of taking this with the rook, you can go in with your queen, and this is bad news bears for him. So I think f6 would have been good. Like I said, like that's probably another way to try to get your pieces in. And if he might not, he probably wouldn't take. He might do a move. Maybe he would go push his pawn. Maybe he would push his pawn. I'm not sure how I feel about this for you. But at the very least, you ask him a question, and maybe he'll answer wrong. At the very least. Also, queen g4 again, so his bishop can't move. I think is also good. Probably. Um,
Maybe with the follow up of pushing the pawn after that.
well, that's the thing. This is bishop here.
Ah.
Yeah. Actually, there's this interesting move g6, and if you take, you lose your queen. You do get in this check, but it's probably not enough. But if after g6 you take with a bishop, and then after king takes you take with the pawn, it's a double check. And if he takes with the queen, you can take, lose the bishop, and then I guess you could take. And this is probably losing, but it looks funny. And like it's so close to mate. It's so close. His king has no squares to go to, but his king is somehow safe, which is pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie. Like, how is his king safe? Oh wait, this check. Oh my goodness, it's mate. No, it's not. How's it not mate? Oh my gosh. Oh, but you win everything. Okay. Okay. This is so off topic. this is so off topic. Yeah, and we do not use the engines for recaps. But I just wanted to look over that. So yeah. So anyways, it gets very tricky. So I still think Queen G4 is very good, but honestly, it's hard to see the sacrifice and then taking here and then like everything open up because here like intuitively right, like you have all of your cannons lined up. So if you can open up the center right now, then like you win. But yeah, he can close it.
Or at least make it very tricky.
Yes. So Queen G4, I think, is the move, or even after here, and Queen G4 makes it so tricky for him. So tricky. It's actually very scary to have this position, but it's kind of wild to say it considering that you're up a piece. But who knows? Maybe I could be wrong. Okay. Let's go back here to the main position. Okay. You will bishop d5, and this is not the counterpunch you were looking for, because there's no threat. There's no threat. Like the knight isn't hanging, so he can just do whatever he wants. He develops queen c4. This is a threat, but he already wanted to castle, and here you could have played this move f6, just to throw in a haymaker, because now the bishop and the pawn are both being attacked, so he cannot avoid it, because then his king opens up. So, and if he takes with the pawn, well, now his king is a little bit weak. So maybe you could go like rook here, and queen here, and just try to make something work. Or you could just go here immediately, and after the rook moves, you have sneaky moves. This is a sneaky move, because like if he just develops a piece, then like you get checkmated in 2 moves. So you have like you have some sneaky moves because his king's open. But if he takes with the bishop, okay, well his king's not open. Except you can sacrifice the rook. I mean, this is definitely still losing for white, but like we said, haymakers. We're just trying to make it super hard for him, like you said.
Yeah.
So I think f6 was another shot that you had just to make things complicated. It's probably nothing you can do. But now you play queen G. So you play queen G4 eventually, but just like a couple moves later than would have caused him the most problems, I think.
Yeah. I spent a little bit of time looking at that, and because
G4.
I actually wasn't expecting him to castle like at all.
Really?
He hadn't at this point, and we're what?
Move 21.
21?
Yeah.
So like that's a super late castle.
It is late castle.
So when I moved the queen there, I was shifting tactics because now I have a new target that I completely have to hit. And this is where I really lose a lot of steam and ideas, essentially. Because I'm trying to figure out how to open that up. Which you just explained how to open it up a lot.
But yeah, if you've never seen that idea before, it might be tough to spot and everything. Like, yeah, and that's the whole point. Like, we're going through ideas, so hopefully next time.
Oh, yeah.
next time you'll be like, oh wait, like there might be a way to open this up.
Yeah, with that pawn push first, actually making it a real threat, because I'm pretty sure here he just brings up his pawn.
Yeah, like you're saying, like, yeah, pawn push here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here, I'm pretty sure his next move is he just brings up the pawn, and that kind of kills it all in the water.
I don't think he does it immediately. He goes bishop f6 first. Oh, but he blocks the pawn push anyways. Yeah. Yeah, because if he did give you another move, like you were saying, like he would play, then like, oh wait, f6 is not a threat because your queen's hanging. But if we ignored the fact that your queen is hanging, then like, oh yeah, you're breaking through. You're threatening checkmate, and you're attacking the bishop. But I mean, ignore this. But yeah, then you're just straight up winning. So he blocks it completely. He's like, no pawn push for you.
Yeah, no pawn push, and not only that, but I can't even bring my bishop in to pin his pawn in place.
Yeah, it would pin the pawn in place, but there's no threat. His bishop guards it. So
there would be no threat, but if he didn't move his bishop, I could have gotten in there in 2 moves. And
you're talking about this move, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the move I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's true. There's no checkmate threat with his bishop guarding it. That's for sure. Okay, but you put your bishop on a good square. He moves his knight back, attacking your bishop. You see the threat. He trades your bishop. Interesting. Ooh, that's a nice move by him. That's a nice move. Because he's giving up his rook, but he has the triple whammy.
Oh, yeah.
Dang. And it's not even a checkmate threat. Ugh. That's sad. Because if his bishop wasn't on... Let's say... Okay. That's so crazy. What a beautiful move. Because if his...
It was.
Like, let's say his bishop went here, for example. Bad move. But let's say he was there. Then after bishop here, knight here, b4 takes, bishop takes, knight e3, doing the triple fork, you would have checkmate. But with his bishop on that square, wow, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
It was a very beautiful defense, and I just could not crack it.
Okay, anyways. So, you take back. He puts his rook on the open file. Small quibble. I think you probably should put your rook like this. So then you could take back with your rook. But, I mean, same difference. It's not that big, that much of a change. And you end up going here. Nice move by him. Look at his bishops. Crisscross, applesaucing and everything. And he ends up getting the trade that he wants. And here it's just losing. There's not much, as you know, there's not much you can do.
No.
Yeah, not much you can do at all, especially with queens off the board. So.
And the rest of this is me just trying to figure out how to ink out anything.
This what happens, yeah. Yeah, because like maybe you could go like c6 and then like push this guy, push your a pawn or something like that. But yeah, he just takes everything and yeah, game over.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel like overall in general how you played?
I feel like I played very well. I really was not expecting like the entire opening, that d5 move, and that kind of threw me. I definitely should have pushed up, got the control of the center, as you were saying earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Like here's a good moment. The French is kind of tricky if you don't know any theory, which you don't know any theory. It's kind of tricky. You just have to play simple chess. If you're not studying theory, what I would recommend, so if you're playing e6, most likely they're playing d5 next. So I suggest, if they give you the opportunity to put 2 pawns in the center, put 2 pawns in the center. And then after they play d5, the most simple way to do it is just to take. And now it's all symmetrical pawns, and you have no weaknesses. If you go bishop d3, your bishop is behind your pawn, so he'll never go c5, c4, and you'll be okay. So this is a simple way to play, where you just develop your pieces and play chess, which is good. You want to, in this game, I feel like you did not get to play chess, because you were just down a piece and you're just trying to get back. You're just trying to get back in the game.
Yeah.
Which is very different than when you get to an equal middle game where you're not down anything. So, but yeah, I think you did. I like what you were thinking in general, and I think that was a good first game. Good first game against a much higher rated opponent. So,
1,000-point difference. That's pretty big.
yeah. Okay, cool. I think we'll leave it there. See you guys in the next game.